The Whisper in the Void, 770 words. Deep in the silent reaches of the Orion expanse, a lone scout ship drifted between twin gas giants. Its hull bore the scars of decades, micrometeor pings, solar flare burns, and the dull gray of old paint. On the bridge, Lieutenant Alex Perez watched the instruments with steady eyes. He had served on this ship, the Aegis Sentinel, for 6 years. He knew the hum of its engines, the slight shiver of its hull in a strong solar wind, and the way the lights flickered when the old reactors sputtered. "Lieutenant," came the calm voice of Commander Mia Lee from the captain's chair. She did not glance up from the star chart spread across the central display. "Any sign of the Drenari fleet?" Alex shook his head. "Nothing, ma'am. Comms are clear. No jump signatures within a light-week radius." Mia tapped the chart. "They should be here. The Drenari have sworn to wipe out every human push into this sector, yet their ships have not appeared." She frowned. Something isn't right. Below decks, in the bowels of the ship, the maintenance crew toiled. Chief Engineer Leo Kahn leaned over a bank of power conduits, adjusting a flux regulator. Sparks danced around his gloved hands as he tightened the final bolt. He straightened, wiping sweat from his brow. "These old conduits can't hold another surge," he muttered. "But the reactor core has to run hotter if we're to keep pace with the new defense matrix." He pocketed his tools and headed for the reactor chamber, unaware that a secret in the deepest archives of Starfleet Command burned hotter still. Thousands of light years away, on Earth's hidden forge station, Project Behemoth neared its final trial. The station hovered unseen behind the shadow of a gas giant. 4 colossal structures, each larger than a small moon, lay in silent orbit. Their hulls shone with a dark alloy that seemed to drink in the starlight. Engineers and scientists scurried. Around control towers, their voices hushed, their steps hurried. No one outside the highest levels of command knew these warships existed. Admiral Sarah Donovan strode through the main control room, though her name was never spoken beyond her office. At her side walked Captain Marcus Byrne, his uniform spotless, his gaze intense. "Report," Donovan demanded. Captain Byrne tapped a hollow screen. "All systems green. The behemoth we call Colossus is ready for its final test fire. Weapon systems are locked. Defense grids are online. Energy reserves stand at 120% capacity." Donovan's eyes hardened. "You know what's at stake, Marcus. If the Drenari ever discover even one of these ships, they will come with every gun they have. We cannot risk early discovery." Byrne inclined his head. "Understood, Admiral. All data is encrypted. Only this control room and the High Council have clearance." Donovan stared at the view screen. A star shimmered in the distance, flaring as if in warning. She took a slow breath. "Then we proceed at dawn. Initiate Phase 1 of the test, and send orders to the Aegis Sentinel to return to Earth orbit. Their presence here must remain a secret." Back in the Orion expanse, Alex Perez felt a tremor beneath his feet. Something pulsed through the void, a wave of energy that set warning lights blinking. On the bridge, alarms chimed softly. "Commander, we're reading a massive energy spike. Non-local beyond the expanse," Alex reported. "It's like nothing I've seen. It's quiet, then loud." Mia snapped to full attention. On screen. The main viewport shifted. From stars to a glowing ripple, a dark shimmer at first, then a wave of distorted light that rushed toward them at faster than light speed. Behind the wave, a shape took form. Impossible in scale, spanning hundreds of kilometers, its silhouette, broad and angular. "Good gods," Mia whispered. Alex's hand hovered over the button. "It's not moving like a ship, it just appeared." Seconds later, the ripple washed past them. The bridge lights dimmed, and the ship groaned as if struck by an invisible hammer. Systems flickered. Alex gripped the console. "Power losses in quarter 5 and 6. Reactor fluctuations up 15%. Mia looked up at the ghostly shape floating in the dark void. "Report its signature." Alex's fingers flew. "No emissions, minimal heat trace. It's as if the hull absorbs energy. But the mass, Commander, it must weigh more than a gas giant." Mia's jaw clenched. "And it's right outside. Our sensor range, we can't track it, can't hail it. Alex swallowed. Whatever it is, it wasn't on any Drenari ship list. This has to be human design. Mia's eyes narrowed. Human? There's no record of vessels this size. Our largest dreadnought is 3 kilometers long. This, she swallowed, is planet scale. Alex felt a shock of dread. Then who, or what? Mia finished. She rose from her chair. Voice steel. Lieutenant, set a course for Earth, warp at maximum safe speed, and send encrypted word to Starfleet. Operation Behemoth underway. Unscheduled breach. Alex hesitated. Ma'am, what if we don't make it? Mia's gaze hardened. We will. Because if we fail, the galaxy will learn of our secret. And then we will never be ready. As the Aegis Sentinel surged toward home, the hidden warships on the forge station thrummed to life. In the cold distance, the colossal hulls shimmered, waiting for the moment when humanity would reveal its ultimate surprise. World-shattering warships the galaxy never saw coming. The hidden trial, the Aegis Sentinel. Hurtled through hyperspace, its skeleton crew braced for arrival. Lieutenant Alex Perez monitored the countdown to exit, while Commander Mia Lee consulted the encrypted message drafted for High Command. Behind them, the warship's hum seemed deeper, as if the vessel itself sensed the magnitude of what it carried. Approaching. Real space in 10 seconds, Alex announced, voice tight. He glanced at Mia. Do you think they'll believe us? Mia didn't answer immediately. She studied the star map flickering on the console. They must, she said finally. If we report this ripple as a natural phenomenon, they'll never suspect the truth. But if we reveal how it disturbs our defenses, well, that might force their hand. Below decks, Chief Engineer Leo Khan struggled to keep the reactor stable. The unexpected energy surge from the ripple had driven flux levels to the limit. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he manipulated the coolant valves. Come on, old girl, he muttered to the reactor. Hold together for just a little longer. A warning light blinked red. Leo's heart pounded. He raced to reroute power from non-essential systems. Divert all auxiliary output to the main grid, he ordered over comms. If we lose the reactor, we're drifting until rescue, if rescue even comes. On the bridge, alarms chimed, then stilled. The hyperspace drive shut down, and stars snapped into focus. Alex exhaled. We're back, he said. Sensors show nothing. No hostile signatures. Mia tapped the console, sending the message at top security clearance. That ripple was the wake of one of our Behemoth-class ships, she whispered. I'm sending our position and the data spike we recorded. No names, just the anomaly. Alex frowned. I worry Starfleet might think we triggered it ourselves. They'll know better. Mia's gaze was unwavering. They built it. They've hidden it. They'll recognize their own design. On the hidden forge station, Admiral Donovan waited in the observation gallery as the test sequence began. Through the viewport, she watched the colossal hull of Colossus rotate, each facet reflecting the faint light of the gas giant it orbited. She felt the station tremble as its engines powered up, engines capable of bending space-time itself. Captain Marcus Byrne stood beside her. Phase 1 diagnostics complete, he reported. All systems nominal. Drawing main reactor output to weapons array. Donovan nodded. Proceed to Phase 2. Fire a Class Omega pulse at the inert test target. In the control room below, technicians braced themselves. They had positioned a derelict asteroid as target, its surface scarred by ancient impacts. It sat 8,000 kilometers away, a silent witness. Firing in 3, 2, 1. A pale beam lanced from Colossus's bow, cutting through the darkness. It struck the asteroid with a thunderous roar that echoed through the station's corridors. Sensors recorded the impact, seismic waves rippling across the rock, flinging debris into space. The beam's energy signature was off the charts. Enough. Force to shatter a world. Back in the gallery, Donovan's jaw clenched. Excellent. The pulse stabilized faster than our simulations predicted. She turned to Byrne. We're ready for Phase 3. Byrne swallowed. Phase 3 is the live-fire maneuver against the Drenari drone swarm? Donovan's lips curved. Precisely. We'll deploy the test drones at the edge of the nebula. Then we'll see how the behemoth fares against actual opposition. As the Aegis Sentinel streaked toward Earth, Alex Perez reviewed the anomaly data. The ripple's effect on nearby star systems had been minimal. No jump lanes collapsed, no planets destroyed. It was precise, controlled, and terrifyingly silent. "Commander," Alex said, "if they can control that energy, they could neutralize any fleet before it even forms." Mia nodded gravely. "Which is why it must remain secret until we can build more. If the Drenari ever learn we have this power, they'll marshal every ally to destroy us first." Leo Khan's voice crackled over comms. "Bridge, this is engineering. I've stabilized the reactor, but the surge drained the coolant reserves. We'll need at least 20 standard refills before full power." Mia pressed a hand to the console. "Understood. Recalculate course for the nearest supply depot. We'll dock and refuel en route." Alex gave a curt nod. "Setting new waypoints now." Behind them, Starship systems hummed, a fragile truce between human ingenuity and the silent behemoths waiting in the dark. As they jumped to warp again, none aboard the Aegis Sentinel could know how close they were to changing the fate of the galaxy. Clash of drones and data on the Forge station. The observation gallery fell silent as Colossus's beam seared through the drone swarm like a scythe through wheat. Hundreds of sleek silver drones, replicas of Drenari attack crafts, swirled in patterned formation at the edge of the nebula. Sensors tracked each one's trajectory, feeding data into the station's analytics core. Admiral Donovan watched, the holo display as the first wave of drones exploded in controlled bursts of light. "Perfect energy distribution," she murmured. "No collateral fragmentation." Captain Byrne tapped the console. "Phase 3 complete. Shield integrity. Held at 87% despite overlapping pulses." In the control room, technicians high-fived. A young lieutenant, eyes wide, turned to Donovan. "Admiral, the data shows each pulse disables drone nanoforges in under a second. They can't rebuild mid-battle." Donovan nodded. "Proceed to Phase 4, continuous sweep." She raised her voice. "Fire at will, 3 volleys in rapid succession." A hush fell over the room as Colossus emitted low-frequency hums, then unleashed 3 overlapping beams that carved arcs of blue-white energy through space. When the light faded, only drifting wreckage remained. Back on the Aegis Sentinel, Alex, Perez peered at the comms log. The encrypted acknowledgement from High Command had come through. Anomaly validated. Return for debrief. The tone was curt, no hint of praise or alarm. "Commander," Alex said, "they're not congratulating us. They're ordering us back." Mia Lee frowned. "They want to assess whether the behemoths pose a risk to themselves." Below decks, Leo Khan opened a holo feed from the station's surveillance camera, showing the colossal silhouette of Colossus. His jaw tightened. "That thing makes our galaxy's biggest base look like a dinghy." Mia joined him, voice low. "And whatever they decide next could change everything." On the Forge station, Captain Byrne and Admiral Donovan studied the post-test report. The data core glowed with graphs mapping pulse intensity, beam coherence, and system strain. Donovan tapped a section. "Look here, efficiency over time. We can double sustained fire by rerouting auxiliary reactors." Byrne's eyes widened. That would allow 5 continuous volleys, enough to clear an entire carrier fleet. Donovan leaned back. "Precisely. But I want to see a full-scale simulation against live targets, the real Drenari Armada, before we adjust the design." And Aide entered carrying a holo tablet. "Admiral, we've received a distress call from the Aegis Sentinel. Their warp core is unstable, and they're 60 light hours out from Sol Station. They request immediate assistance." Donovan's lips curved into a thin smile. "It seems our first test has unexpected witnesses." In the Aegis Sentinel engineering bay, Leo Khan wrestled with the coolant matrix. Sparks flew as he replaced a fusion conduit. He glanced at the viewport. Distant stars streaked by as the ship limped through space. "Bridge to engineering." Mia's voice crackled. "Status report." Leo swallowed. "Coolant loop restored, but we lost 2 reactor cells. I can jury-rig. 3 spares, but we'll be underpowered until refit. Mia's tone was firm but compassionate. Understood. Prepare to jettison non-essential mass. We'll make the rendezvous as is. Leo nodded. Aye, Commander. He secured the final clamp and wiped grease from his hands. As he stood, the bay lights flickered, a subtle reminder of how close they danced to disaster. Back on the forge station, Donovan watched the distress feed from the Sentinel's captain's deck. The images were grainy, but unmistakable. Her own warship project shimmering on their hull. She tapped the screen. They know too much. Prepare a rescue convoy, but we will control what information returns with them. Byrne looked uneasy. Admiral, if we engage openly, the Drenari may detect our presence. Donovan's gaze hardened. Then we'll cloak the convoy. We cannot allow our secret to walk into Sol Station unguarded. As the hidden fleet slipped into dark space, 2 distant threads converged. The battered scout ship carrying the galaxy's greatest secret, and the moon-sized dreadnoughts poised to reshape the balance of power. Only time would tell which force would strike first, and whether humanity's gamble would secure its place among the stars. The unseen coalition, the rescue convoy, slipped through the nebula's dark fringes, each ship cloaked behind layers of advanced stealth. Admiral Donovan watched the tactical display aboard the flagship Aegis Forged, her gaze sharp. Maintain formation, she ordered. We cannot risk detection. On the battered bridge of the Aegis Sentinel, Commander Mia Lee scanned the view screen. Through the static, she made out a distant shape, the outline of colossal ships moving in silent procession. Relief washed over her crew. They came, she said softly. But what will they do when they see our state? Below decks, Leo Khan prepared to jettison the damaged reactor cells. He gave a final check of the retention clamps before opening the bay doors. In the hold, the cells floated free, drifting into the void. He sighed. Good riddance, he muttered, then looked up at the faltering glow of the reactor. Back on the Aegis Forged, Admiral Donovan considered her next move. Intelligence suggested the Drenari armada was massing at the edge of the expanse. If the Sentinel limped home bearing proof of behemoth technology, rival powers might swarm solar space before they could act. Send a boarding team, Donovan instructed. Recover the Sentinel's data core and restrict all transmissions to direct, channel only. Captain Marcus Byrne tapped his comm badge. Lieutenant Commander Reyes, assemble your team at Docking Bay 3. You have 10 minutes. Lieutenant Commander Elena Reyes gripped her sidearm as she led her small squad onto the shuttle bay. Each trooper wore adaptive camouflage gear, their faces set. We move fast, Reyes briefed them. Retrieve the core, secure the crew, and get out. No heroics. In the docking tunnel, Reyes's team linked boots with Mia's officers. There was a tense silence as human faces from 2 commands met. Mia stepped forward, offering her hand. Thank you, she said quietly. Reyes nodded. Let's get you home. As the engineers extracted the glowing data core, its surface etched with encrypted logs, Leo Khan watched over their shoulders. This is everything, he said. The pulse patterns, energy matrices, weapon specs. Reyes placed a firm hand on his shoulder. We'll get it to the High Council, but if anyone asks, you built these logs yourself. Meanwhile, Admiral Donovan monitored the feed. The convoy edged closer to real space exit. In her private quarters, she allowed herself a small smile. Phase 4 complete, she whispered into her recorder. Now the galaxy will truly tremble. Outside the forge station, the Drenari fleet loomed like a dark storm on the horizon, unaware that humanity's secret behemoths were awakening and that a new era of power balance was about to begin. The Drenari reckoning. The Drenari High Fleet assembled at the edge of the Orion expanse, warships bristling with spires of dark metal. Grand Admiral Voktrell studied the sensor readouts, his many eyes narrowing. No sign of human dreadnoughts, he hissed in his native tongue, but our probes detect anomalies in sol space. Unusual energy signatures like blasts of pure light. Captain Arlan knelt beside him. Our scouts report a human cruiser returning under distress flag. They claim to have encountered a phenomenon too massive to name. Voktrels, mandibles clicked. Prepare an assault fleet. We'll intercept and root out the source. If humanity has new weapons, we must crush them before they can be used. Back on the Aegis Sentinel's bridge, Alex Perez watched the blinking alert. On the tactical display, sir, unidentified fleet on intercept course. No transponder signal. Mia Lee's grip tightened on the console. Distance 15 light minutes and closing fast. Leo Khan's voice crackled over comms from engineering. Commander, reactor at 40%. We can't sustain evasive maneuvers much longer. Mia drew a slow breath. Then we fight smart, not hard. She tapped a sequence. Lieutenant, send our distortion beacon. It will mask our true signature and scatter the Drenari sensors. Alex activated the device. Outside, the ship's hull shimmered with a faint distortion, like heat waves rising from a desert. On enemy scanners, the Sentinel broke into a dozen ghost images, each drifting in different directions. Moments later, Drenari warships opened fire, but their beams passed through empty space. The Sentinel slipped between flashes of light, weaving toward the hidden convoy's jump point. In the void, the Sentinel reached the cloaked convoy's fringe. A silent corridor of darkness beckoned. Mia tapped her comm. Admiral Donovan, we've evaded them. Prepare for transit. A calm voice answered. Proceed at will. The behemoths await. As the cloaked ships assembled around them, Alex Perez allowed himself a brief smile. They had won this skirmish. But the real battle loomed, and the galaxy's fate would hinge on the moment humanity unleashed its secret behemoths for the first time. Next, Part 6, where the hidden warships make their debut. The behemoths. Ascension beyond the nebula's jagged edge, the hidden fleet gathered in silent anticipation. Cloaked tendrils of stealth technology shivered in the dark, but the true marvel lay in their midst. The 4 behemoth-class warships, each larger than many small moons. Their hulls gleamed faintly as they deactivated stealth fields, revealing their spires and hull plates like great islands drifting in space. Commander Mia Lee watched the feed from the Aegis Sentinel. Her heart pounded as she saw the first behemoth drift free of its station tether. They're moving, she whispered. All systems online. Lieutenant Alex Perez keyed in a tactical overlay. Admiral Donovan has given the order. Reveal and engage. His voice trembled with awe. These ships, they're more than just weapons, they're symbols. In the Forge Station's control gallery, Admiral Sarah Donovan stood beside Captain Marcus Byrne. Activate the primary array, she commanded. Show them what humanity can do. Below decks on each behemoth, engineering crews sealed off. Reactor chambers. Chief Engineer Leo Khan, now aboard the flagship Colossus, watched coolant flows stabilize. He pressed a final override. Power to the front cannons, he reported. Ready on your mark. Donovan's gaze was fierce. Mark. Silent pulse rippled through space. The behemoth's main batteries ignited, bathing the void in pale blue light. Energy arcs danced along their hull edges before converging into colossal beams that lanced toward the Drenari fleet at the expanse boundary. On sensors across 100 light minutes, the Drenari warships reeled. Their shields buckled under the beam's intensity, beams capable of cleaving a planet in two. Alarms blared as they scattered in panic, unsure how to counter an enemy that could not be contained by any known defense. Target their flagships, Donovan ordered. One shot will do. Each behemoth focused its fire, and the void trembled. In distant command centers, Drenari officers watched in horror as their greatest vessels broke apart in silent, precise detonations. Back on the Aegis Sentinel, Mia and Alex exchanged glances. They did it, Alex breathed. Humanity's secret behemoths. They're real. Mia's eyes shone with pride and fear. Real enough to change the galaxy, she said softly. In the aftermath, the Drenari fleet limped away, shattered and leaderless. The hidden stations reactivated stealth fields and slipped back into the shadows, while the surviving human ships gathered around the behemoths in reverent formation. On the bridge of the Aegis Sentinel, Alex sent a simple report to Earth. Behemoths. Engaged. Enemy routed. Galaxy stunned. Mia leaned back, the weight of what had just happened settling on her shoulders. "We've shown humanity's might," she murmured. "But now the real challenge begins. To wield this power wisely, and to keep the peace we've forced." As the behemoths glowed softly in the void, their silent silhouettes stood as reminders that in the vast darkness of space, the greatest weapon is the will of those who dare to build the impossible. Next, Part 7, The Dawn of a New Era. Dawn of Vine. A new era. Weeks after the behemoths first revealed themselves, the galaxy stood in stunned silence. News feeds across countless star systems buzzed with fragmented reports of planet-sized warships that had shattered the Drenari High Fleet. Many dismissed it as rumor. Only a handful of trusted commanders had seen the truth. On Earth's orbital command station, Admiral Mia Lee and Lieutenant Alex Perez stood before the High Council. The massive data core, extracted from the Aegis Sentinel, rested in a secure vault nearby. Holographic images of the behemoths rotated in the air. High Counselor Wren asked, "Commander Lee, do you believe these ships can maintain peace? Or will they spark a new arms race?" Mia met his gaze steadily. "Their power is unmatched, but their existence must remain our secret and our promise. We do not build to conquer. We build to protect. If we use them wisely, they will deter war, not invite it." Counselor Wren nodded slowly. "And the Drenari, will they seek revenge?" "Lieutenant," Perez answered, "they know they cannot face us directly. Some of their leaders have already sued for terms, but others will rebuild. The balance is fragile." In a hidden maintenance bay, Chief Engineer Leo Kahn oversaw the fitting of new reactor cells into the Colossus. He policed each weld and flux, conduit, ensuring no flaw remained. A young technician approached him. "Sir, when will we be needed again?" she asked. Leo paused, wiping his hands. "I hope never. These ships exist to keep the peace. But if the galaxy grows dark again, we will be ready." The technician smiled nervously. "It's amazing. To build something that powerful, yet use it only as a warning." Leo nodded. "That is the true test of strength." Across the nebula where the Drenari once assembled, a small human envoy met with Drenari diplomats aboard a neutral station. Ambassador Nara spoke for humanity. "We offer this accord," she said, voice calm. "Recognize our right to defend ourselves, and we will share peaceful technology that benefits all. In return, you renounce any aggression toward human space." The lead Drenari envoy considered her words, many more of his kind watching from behind patterned glass. At last, he spoke through a translator. "We accept these terms and for now, but know this, the Drenari do not forgive weakness easily." Back in Earth's skies, the four behemoths drifted in silent guard at distant outposts. Each ship broadcast a slow, pulsing beacon, an unspoken reminder that, should war ever rise again, humanity would summon its hidden behemoths from the dark. On the bridge of the Aegis Sentinel, Mia and Alex watched the beacon signal fade into the otherworldly glow of deep space. Alex broke the silence. "Do you ever wonder if we should destroy them, so no one ever uses them again?" Mia turned to him, her eyes reflecting starlight. "Perhaps one day we will, but not today. Today we stand at the threshold of a new era, one where power is held in check by responsibility." Alex nodded, a sense of hope filling him. "Then let us make sure this era lasts." As they looked out at the silent silhouettes of the behemoths far beyond the nebula, both knew that the galaxy had changed, forever, but that with great power came the greatest duty, to guard peace with unwavering resolve.